Welcome to another episode of Breathing is Highly Dangerous. This is going to be a little bit different here. This was going to be half of a episode that I was going to finish off with my mother at a later time. I made this a couple months back, intending on making the other half with her, but currently she's in the hospital. She's sedated. The doctor said it looked really bad. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the most appropriate video to post, but to let her know I was thinking about her. Because I'm not an emotional person. I know she's gonna get better because she's been falling through her life, but this is not a memorial. This is more of a praise thing. This is an appreciation video, so she can get better. So people is like, hey, I hope she doesn't hate me. I don't know. But no, it's a weird video. It's sort of intimate. It's sort of, I don't know. I mean, I was going to do the rest of it with her. She knows herself. We've been talking it over. We've been patching up our relationship. But yeah, I'm just gonna release this as a appreciation video, and give it a listen if you will. If you don't, then turn it the heck off and come back for the next one. Thank you. Thank you all for the prayer. She's improving. We're singing the never been done before, but there's some new problems that are starting to occur. But so keep praying, and she's gonna come out of this stronger than ever, and we know it. Just keep praying. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. This is going to be a non-traditional episode. This is like a pleasant episode, I suppose. I was wanting to do with my mother here, but she was feeling a little bit under the weather. So I'm gonna do it by myself because I think this is something that needs to get out there. Like, this is just a personal story. It's like there's some cool things here. Maybe you will be able to sort of figure out your relationship. Figure out sort of things with what I gotta say. But in the future, I will have my mother on these episodes. As you can see, the name of this title I came up with is Fighting with My Mother. We've had my mother and I also have two other siblings. We've had a tumultuous past. We've had not always the greatest relationship, but we've always remained like close, I suppose. Not close emotionally, but like close vicinity wise, I suppose, for the most part. So, for the most part. But how about let's just start at the beginning? Yeah, so first, come from married. Parents are married. That's some cool stuff. Two parents married. The best situation a child could be in. Two parents that love each other 2 degrees at the time. Love each other enough to have children, make it work, stay together. Always the best. That's the best case scenario for a child, to have both their parents raising in a household that both parents are there, that they love them. So they were doing something good there. She's making good decisions. Love it. Later on, got divorced. Some things happen. Right? Things happen. It's some cool things, and so right, some choices she made. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but I'll let her explain sort of things there, because it's not all my story to tell, but I can tell the way things I was seeing it, like some things during that time. It was just like it was affecting her so much that it would just start affecting the way she was able to take care of her children. Of course, it's not supposed to be. She's not supposed to bear that weight, and that's something I realize and recognize today, and thank her today for, and recognize her and have to, and continue. And if you have a mother that was in that sort of situation, understand that they're not supposed to be a single mother, right? That's not the way it's supposed to be. That's not the way anyone should want to have to raise a child as a single parent. Like, circumstances that put in that are not the optimum case, not the optimum conditions for child rearing and for emotional development and physical development and all the proper, like the best, I've said it. But yeah, she tried her best. She's got 3 kids, yeah. Um, I'm the middle child, so I don't know if you all heard about the middle child syndrome. That's all that bull crap. I don't think it's a syndrome. I think it's literally a phenomenon of of whether wanted or unwanted. But I mean, it's just my experience, like a certain amount of neglect, um, which may not be acknowledged or recognized or is not intentional on the parents' part. But I certainly felt that, and when I've never searched up the middle childhood, I've just heard people say, I'm like, so that's a thing. Interesting. So this is a prevalent part of society, and you're just putting it off as you want attention. Okay. So, I mean, in that time, I suppose, yeah, I did want attention, but I also needed it. So, understanding that I wanted something that I needed, and then being, being a negative, like being saying, "Hey, you're doing too much." Yeah, like because I was more vocal in terms of the things I wanted. I've always been a more loquacious type. Um, when I was younger, I didn't know as many words, right? So I couldn't always say in the best manner. I couldn't always say the things because I never like there was a thing when I was young. It's like yeah, at grown folks' business and all that stuff. And like yeah, you respect that and all that stuff. I'm like yeah, disregard that. I know what you're saying. Let me respond. Let me give my opinion. Adults don't care about children's opinions, or they. I mean, which rightfully in cases when the child may not have all the information, which I did not have all the information, all the overarching information. So they were rightful in part to that, but in acknowledging rather than ignoring, and then explaining if it was it made sense to explain. But if you put your child in a situation where they're asking for an explanation, then maybe not do the things where they're asking questions. So if you don't want questions to be asked, do not put someone make someone have an observable experience which then they have questions about. Right? If you get that, that makes sense to me. That's how I put it in my head. Right? So if I don't want people to ask questions, I won't leave a witness. Easy as that. That's just simple logic and reasoning in my head. Uh, but no, in terms of family, so it's like, yeah, I've always been, I like even though see this is what people used to think of, like they used to call my brother the shy one. It's like no, and they would call me the loud one or whatever. But like I've I think a lot of people misunderstood my comfortability with certain people because they only saw the way I acted when I was around them. So I acted the particular way around certain people. So they what they saw, they experienced, right? And they couldn't, and they didn't experience what they didn't observe. So they didn't. If they didn't observe something, they didn't know about something else. So they would. A lot of people would describe me in different ways, although they would all consider me weird, strange, different. So that was a general consensus of my interaction. But in terms of the way you describe me, because it would be depending on who I was around, but I always like every single one of these was me. It wasn't like I was being someone else. I was just being myself the way I am around you because this is the way you have decided to show me. So this is what I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to like the language wouldn't change because my language like I tried to. like my language has developed over a certain amount of time, but now I'm trying to get back to making people understand me and not using so many strange words, um, just so I can have a broader amount of people understand what I want to say. If there's someone listening, then I want to be sure that they understand everything that I'm saying if they are willing to listen, right? It doesn't make any sense to relay information that no one will understand if you are giving it to an audience that you expect to understand. So speak their language. So that's something I have to do and work on and consider about. But my mother, yes, that's what it was about. No, but yeah. So there was some things. Yeah, she was always trying her best. There was some things, obviously, that I wouldn't have agreed with in childhood, but nonetheless, she always tried her best, and I recognize that, and will always give her praise for doing that. But so I think I want to name some. Yeah, but some of my favorite things that she's ever done, like things I'm so thankful for that I didn't realize was such a blessing to me at the time, was even though it was on purpose and I didn't like it at the time, but these are my favorite things that she has done. She moved us around, right? So in my head and in a general consensus, I don't support the idea of this, but I know it's helped me so much, and people, I don't think it should be done, but I'm happy it happened. You know what I mean? So the favorite things that the choices that were made that had a good result for my life, regardless of the person that made. Right? So it may not have been the best, but it was the best for the time, like the best thing you could come up with, and so moving around. We moved around several times. We moved around, stay a place a year, move. Stay a place 2 years, move. My mother, we were going through some stuff. We were in some situations. We were in just some situations. I'll let her explain that later on. If she wants to. That's her sort of bag. Let her explain that deal. But we move around, meet lots of people, get lots of different types of communities. Like that's why I'm like everyone is everyone. Everyone, like people all over the world are the same everywhere you go. I give into this, I give into that, and it bothers me so. It's the Jackson song. Am I in a bad situation? People take it to the extreme. You know, things I do for you, things I do for you. The Jacksons. It's a great song. That like it just so many other things in the Jackson music just reflect my life and mirror my life so well. Like the music and the songs and certain lifestyle, like certain experiences. I'm like, wow. um, no, but moving around was definitely. I hated it um, because I knew stability is something that stability, consistency is something I wanted at the time. Something children need: stability, consistency, and like more like predictability, like schedule, like things need to be easy enough for a child so that like oh no, but moving. I love her for that. Thank you, Mom. When you watch this, thank you. See, I love you. Uh moving. What else? Going to church. I mean, yeah, I loved her. I didn't like. I liked a few churches that we went to, but like in terms of religion stuff, like yeah, I thank you for showing me exactly what not to do. For going there and showing me what a church should not be. That's just beautiful. I appreciate you taking me there. Let me see some more favorite things about what she's done. Like, yeah, the churches. I mean, just churches are. If you don't know by now, I mean, organized religion is the fall of many people. Is why there's so much hatred in the world. I believe. Well, not I believe. I know for a fact. Sorry if you don't know, you know, you know. Organized religion is ultimately going to be what leads to the many deaths of people. That has led to the death of millions so far already, and will continue to do so, and lead to the death of billions. And this is a fact. This is just what's going to happen. And the sooner people recognize that the trails that they're following are leading towards a trail of death, are you going to continue to walk on that once you're knowledgeable of your trail of death that you're walking on, or are you going to walk off the path and walk towards the trail of life? There's only two paths. Only two paths. It's either you live or you die. People are making it sound like you live, no, 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 and you die. No, you live or you live. You live or you die. There's only two paths. That's not a fork in the road. That's a fucking tongue. I mean, it's a BBQ spoke if you look at it like that. But I mean, I guess it's the fork in the road. But yeah, there's not three paths. There's only two. There's only two paths. There's life and death. So I'll explain that later. Like, I think I'm going to be less conscientious about what I post on here, because I was trying to do guests every time because I like perspective. But I mean, until people understand my perspective, I don't know if they're going to be able to want to talk to me. So, and I don't want to misrepresent anything by allowing someone else to give their perspective without you understanding mine, and maybe you thought I agree with that. But I don't. I don't know. I let people think what they think. I'm not trying to have you believe anything. You believe what you want to believe with proof and evidence, and I want to give you anecdotal evidence. All these are anecdotes so far, but the best knowledge is experienced knowledge, and that is what I firmly believe. Whether that is off of someone else's experience or your own experience, it's experienced knowledge, not theory. Theory is what you come up with for the original thought. Theory from original thought. Then you have to place that theory into an experiment, which is through action. If you do not have actions towards what you theorize, then your theory is non-actionable knowledge. Non-actioned knowledge. So therefore, you think, you do not know. You believe, you do not know. I mean, there's better ways to explain that, but that's the way I can explain it so many different ways, but that's the way I explain it quickly. So pick it apart. You have questions, ask me. Thank you. More favorite things that my mother's done. Sharing a room? Nah. Nope. Not even thankful for it. I have a brother 1 year older than me. Didn't like it one bit. Yeah, nah. Let's see. Oh, there's so many things, but there's some things. If I was an emotional person, they would make me emotional. But I mean, there's like we were we were we were not rich. We always had people helping us. And that is so. I am so appreciative of these people, like God placed in our lives, to help us, and I appreciate every bit of time they spent and imparted knowledge into our lives, and gave us that knowledge that there's good people out there that care about you when people close to you aren't being the provider that they should be. And I appreciate all those people that my mom befriended, the people that put themselves into our lives, that volunteered for us, all those anonymous people that it gave us. There was this. It was. I'll talk about that later. But there's been always basically they're like they're not angels, but just like people intercessors that have been put in our lives that just blessed us so much, and it never fails. We didn't go homeless for long. We were homeless at times, right? Certainly. I'm happy for that too. I'm not happy about the situation, but I'm glad that was an experience. And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a story about that. I'll tell you a story about that later. That's a different story. Remind me to bring it up. But we were at times That was when we were way young. That was while the parents are still married too. Um, no, but I'm so happy for those people that my mom uh, introduced us to, in terms of the people that helped us. There's lots of people. There's lots of people. Lots of people that were just attracted to the energy. There, we were always different. I appreciate, yeah. So people that are around. I appreciate her doing, like telling us we were different, right? Because that was, it helped me at least. Like just saying like it is with other people were telling me different. She was telling me different. She told me earlier I was going to be different. I'm like, okay, cool. But she wasn't necessarily purposely shaping me to be different so much. Like she wasn't molding me to be different. It was just like it's like threw it out there. It's like I don't know. I'm trying to make a good analogy for this. Where it's like as the chef. Unlike the chef, I have all the ingredients, right? Like, but she plucked them because she gave birth, right? Her parents plucked them. We gave her birth. It's like, okay. So this is what it should taste like. This is what it should taste like. And you gotta do this. This is you cooking. Like, give me all the like, basically giving me instructions for to make it taste certain ways. Like, and it's like, but I don't like that flavor. It's like, well, this is how we like it. So this is what you're gonna have to put in there in order for it to taste like this, and this is gonna taste real good. I'm like, but I don't like those flavors, so I get to choose and pick which ingredients I put in into my dish, and then so if I would just pick and choose and put into a meal that I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's good. They were right about that, and then they see other things that tasted not so good. I'm like, yeah, like, yeah, I didn't like that. It's like sort of like that. So I'm trying to come up with a good analogy one day. I have certain things about this written out, but I'm glad I've said it because I can write it down later. Uh, no, but she told me I've been different, but not molding me to be different, but just saying, okay, this is the way, like based on her experience, the way she grew up, she was considered different. There's some things, experiences. I've had some experiences that she still doesn't know about. You guys aren't going to know about. I'm going to keep to myself. No, but yeah, the difference. I'm glad she told me that because that prepared me to internalize that. Like at first, I didn't know what it meant, and I spoke this in my danger and difference video. But yeah, go. I might put it here. I might put it here. So if I probably put it here, I might put it here. We'll see. I'll try to put it here. I'll try to put it here. Danger and difference might check. I'll put it here. I'll try to put it here. We'll see. No, but no. And then we were poor, so she would like you don't you. I bet like the people that are poor, they understand how much like food is like it's just a treat. Like people say, you got McDonald's money. Like the bad thing, you got McDonald's. We got food at home. Like yes, like we need it. Like those are so important. It's like don't even ask. We ain't got. We know we ain't got the money. Don't ask. Don't look. Like so, we freaking forget what McDonald's tastes like. Then she would come up one day. It's like and then just drive us to like Wendy's. I remember there was just one day. I'm like. And then we just go. I'm like, I think I'm asleep. And then we wake up, and then we go inside. She's like, yeah, and then we carrying bags in. Like we probably had went groceries or something. And then we go inside the flat, and then she's like, here, it's Wendy's. I'm like, like and then it was the best chicken nugget they used to. I'm telling you, you all know it. Wendy's used to have better chicken nuggets than McDonald's. I'm telling you. We didn't even like McDonald's like that. Like McDonald's wasn't even a thing. But anytime I would just eat McNuggets. I would only eat McNuggets or chicken nuggets from Wendy's. That's the only thing I ever like. That whenever we got there, like McNuggets. great, fantastic. I love them. They're amazing. I love it. Um, she would surprise us like that, and like you get us some food. And then Chicago, we live in Chicago. You know it's a treat. If you live in, I mean, there's probably people in Chicago that never had it, but that have been extremely poor. But we were fortunate enough sometimes. The pizza, we would get it like, we would have it like once or twice a year, deep dish pizza, and then we would have pizza. And we would say it would last a week. It would last a week. It would last. Well, I mean, mine would last a week. I would have it, save it, paper plate. Like you could put it on a paper plate, paper towel over it, another paper plate on top, save it. We would. Oh my goodness, yo! She was just surprised like that. The lovely stuff, like that stuff, like just surprised us like that. It was beautiful, like, and obviously, like during that times, like I was, we would be, like I couldn't, like every day wasn't good because like there were things she was struggling with. Like yeah, she'd always had like these sort of medical issues and stuff, and like she'd have to find out where we get money from and all that stuff. And it's like that stress that you hold, you stressing your kids out too. Like don't like like I think she tried her best to hide the stress and like stuff. And it's like, but I'm thankful that I knew about it, and now because now I know how to address it in other people. It's like, and being around other people with similar problems that she has, like she'd also like to be a help. She'd like to be around other people with problems. Like to be around other people with problems. So I'd see their problems and like, interesting. Okay, cool. So we're gonna be around this person. Okay, cool, nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad about everyone we were around, even if they were bad or not. Like it gave me an experience that I've learned from, gained knowledge from. There's times in our life where we couldn't talk about certain things at all. Couldn't go places. Couldn't be on social media. Certain things, and like we just hyper protect. It's like there's her protection, and then certain things we're experiencing, we need protection from. And it's like, you can't do this, and I'm glad she put it in certain barriers, but certain restrictions, certain boundaries that I mean, in terms of teenage rebellion, like what you would consider a societal rebellion, like teenage, like you break against your parents, like by virtue of the definition of rebellion, yes, we rebelled, but we were show we basically showed the kids. So like our version of rebellion was like, you kid, oh, so you don't let them do that? Oh, okay. And it's just like whatever, but like it would like there's huge issues. So I'm glad she set certain boundaries because there's things that even in those small little things, like there's certain protections that must be made for children, and I appreciate her putting those up, even if they were violated for certain degrees, and like certain experiences and certain things she didn't want to expose to, we had limited exposure to, even though there was hyper exposure to other things that were much more problematic. I appreciate every effort that she's ever put in, and also is one of the best memories is like we were trying to be as obedient as we could, but it's like I don't know. There was just so much going on. It's like hard to satisfy. But she really showed out. I can't remember what year. It's probably 2010. Um, she got us probably was it 2010? It's either 2010 or 2009. I think it was 2009, 2010. We got the Wii. That's when we finally got our own we. We got our own we. And she's like, first time obedience, everything. I'm like, yes. Children can only do that for so long. I mean, like we were in that like teenage phase. It's like, yo, like, and then being. I mean, it's so. I mean, that we is like. Cause we used to. I mean, that we had some fun together as a family with the Wii. It was so much fun. Like we had the Wii Sports. It was so much fun. I appreciate her for all that. She put us in. Like she tried to put us in some like counselling programs, like counselling, like. So I appreciate her for that. I guess too. Um, Trying to get help for herself so she could better help us. Whether or not it was successful at the time. It wasn't successful at the time, but I mean, it's successful for me because I'm seeing my own successes because of those experiences. So, regardless of whether or not the past was successful and the choices that you made were successful in the past, because you made those choices, I now have certain opportunities to make for myself currently, which is why I am so thankful. Um, I mean, there's tons of things. But I'll have her join me for the next. All right. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Thanksgiving. Oh wait, no, my bad. Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year,
And happy Hanukkah.
and Merry Christmas. And I'll try and get my mom to join for the other half, and then it'll be an hour-long video. Okay. 2021 is coming up too quickly. You all gotta stop it. You're going too quick. You're going. Stop it. Stop it. Focus. You're moving too quick. That's what she always say. Patience. She always told me to be patient. I'm like, I've been sitting in the house for 17 years. 13. Uh, uh, well, no, yeah. Patience is key. All right. You all, I'll try to mesh them together.